Picture this. You're informed that you need to report to human resources for an investigation into potential misconduct. Because you watch these videos, or because you've been there before, you know what to expect from your agency's internal affairs. But what should you expect for an HR or outside investigation? Do they have to follow the same rules as internal affairs? What rights do you have? Does the Peace Officers' Bill of Rights apply? This week, we're looking at the non-negotiable requirements under ARS 381104, the one EEOC carve-out, and why skipping steps here invites reversal. I'm Steve Serbalik, and I'm a panel attorney with AsCops in Arizona. Arizona's Peace Officers' Bill of Rights applies to every administrative investigation that could lead to discipline of a sworn officer, no matter who holds the clipboard. This means HR probing a use of force complaint, a private investigator hired by the city, or a consultant reviewing off-duty conduct must all follow the same playbook. The statute draws no distinction between IA and anyone else. The notice of investigation remains the cornerstone. It has to spell out the specific nature of the alleged misconduct and the specific facts supporting the allegation. A vague reference to unprofessional conduct or a policy section number without dates, times, locations, or witnesses renders the entire notice defective. The clock never starts, and any interview conducted under a deficient NOI could get tossed. At the exact same moment the investigator hands over the NOI, they must also provide every relevant and readily available material in the agency's possession. This includes body-worn camera footage, dispatch logs, citizen statements, prior reports, emails. Anything the agency can pull without a subpoena has to be in the officer's hands right then. The investigator does not get to wait until they personally review the file. If it exists, it matters, and it has to be provided with the notice. The officer then receives at least 24 full hours after receiving the NOI and the materials before the first question can be asked. That timeline runs calendar hours, not business hours, and weekends count. Hand the packet over on Thursday afternoon. The interview cannot begin until Friday afternoon at the earliest. So there is a narrow exception, and it applies only to complaints that fall under EEOC jurisdiction, such as discrimination, harassment, or retaliation based on protected class. In those cases, the agency or investigator may withhold the actual copy of the formal complaint itself to protect the complainant's identity during the initial stages. However, the NOI still must contain detailed factual allegations: who said what, when, where, and to whom, and every other relevant and readily available material must still be disclosed on the spot. The complaint itself, that can come later, but nothing else gets delayed. Agencies sometimes claim HR probes are personnel matters outside the POBR. That argument collapses the moment the investigation targets a sworn officer and discipline's on the table. The POBR attaches to the officer's status, not the investigator's title. The moment an officer learns HR or an outside entity is opening a file, AsCops members need to make a call. The legal plan covers review of the NOI, covers demanding the missing materials, and legal efforts to quash defective notices from the very first day. Getting us involved early forces compliance and preserves every procedural defense. So the big takeaway is simple. HR investigations of sworn officers do not operate in some parallel universe. They live under POBR's roof. Specific allegations, full materials up front, and 24 hours review notice are mandatory. With the single EEOC complaint carve-out, demand everything else. Make sure your command staff knows to treat these probes like IA from the very beginning, because that's what state law requires. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. Don't forget to like, follow, and turn on notifications. It really helps the channel grow. Be on the lookout for new videos. They come out every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. Arizona time. I'm Steve Serbalik. Thanks for watching, and stay safe out there.
Call back for 86. Negative.